Ever wondered how people can gain unauthorized access to sensitive information without using any software or tools? Well, it's time to unravel the mystery. Welcome to the world of social engineering, an intriguing strategy that cybercriminals use to manipulate, deceive, and exploit the trust of unsuspecting individuals. Social engineering is not about hacking into systems using technical know-how, but rather, it's about hacking into the human mind. It's a non-technical method of intrusion that relies heavily on human interaction and deceitful behavior. It's about playing on emotions, exploiting trust, and bending the rules of social norms, all to achieve one goal: tricking people into breaking their normal security procedures. The main objective of social engineering is not to crack codes or bypass firewalls, but rather to persuade individuals to voluntarily hand over their sensitive information. It's a game of trust, a dance of persuasion. Remember, it's not about what you know, it's about who you trust. Can you believe that one of the most famous social engineers, Kevin Mitnick, was once on the FBI's most wanted list? Now that's a statement that could make anyone sit up and take notice. But how did a mere mortal, devoid of any supernatural powers, land himself in such a precarious position? Well, Mitnick was a master at manipulation. His tools of the trade were not complex code or sophisticated software, but rather human psychology. He exploited the trust and curiosity of others to gain access to information that was meant to be confidential. In most cases, he didn't even have to touch a keyboard to commit his cybercrimes. Instead, he would convince unsuspecting individuals to hand over their passwords and access codes, unknowingly giving him the keys to the kingdom. He was an artist in the truest sense, painting a picture of trust and believability that few could resist. Let's take a moment to understand this a bit better. Imagine you're at work and you receive a phone call from someone claiming to be from your IT department. They sound knowledgeable, they use the right jargon, and they seem to know things about your company that only an insider would know. They tell you they're conducting a routine security check, and they need your password to ensure your account is secure. Would you give it to them? You might think, of course not. I wouldn't fall for such a trick. But remember, Mitnick wasn't just any trickster. He was a maestro of deception, capable of creating an aura of authenticity that could make even the most skeptical individual lower their guard. Mitnick's story is not just a tale of one man's criminal exploits. It's a lesson, a wake-up call to all of us about the power and potential of social engineering. His story is a stark reminder that the weakest link in any security chain is often not technological, but human. It's the person who, in the absence of any reason to be suspicious, accepts a person or scenario at face value. Mitnick's case serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the weakest link in the security chain is the human who accepts a person or scenario at face value. Did you know that the 2011 RSA breach, a major cybersecurity incident, was largely a result of social engineering? Indeed, let's journey back to 2011, where we saw one of the most significant cybersecurity breaches unfold. RSA, a renowned security company, fell prey to an attack that saw a massive amount of sensitive data compromised. But how, you ask? The answer is simpler than you might think: social engineering. At the heart of this breach were phishing emails, a common tool used in social engineering. The attackers didn't target the entire company at once. Oh no, they went for small groups of RSA employees. They sent these unsuspecting individuals emails that seemed harmless enough, tricking them into opening a dangerous attachment. In this particular case, the email was disguised as a recruitment plan, a document you'd expect in any corporate environment. The attachment was an Excel spreadsheet embedded with a zero-day exploit that targeted Adobe Flash. Once the attachment was opened, a backdoor was installed on the victim's computer, giving the attackers unrestricted access to the RSA network. This opened a Pandora's box of problems. The attackers roamed freely through RSA's systems, eventually gaining the ability to duplicate the digital keys RSA used to secure access to military, governmental, and financial organizations worldwide. The fallout was immense, affecting millions and shaking the cybersecurity world. So you see, it all started with a simple click, a seemingly harmless action that led to a major data breach. This incident is a stark reminder that social engineering attacks can be deceptively simple, yet devastatingly effective. It's not always about cracking codes or bypassing firewalls. Sometimes, it's about exploiting the most vulnerable link in the chain of security, the human element. This modern example shows that even the most secure organizations can fall prey to social engineering attacks if their employees are not adequately trained to spot them. So, what can we learn from these real-life examples of social engineering? Well, for starters, we've delved into the definition of social engineering, a term that might have seemed nebulous initially. It's essentially the art of manipulating people into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. It's not always about the technology. It's often about exploiting the most vulnerable element in the security chain, the human being. We've seen how the legendary Kevin Mitnick masterfully played on human psychology to gain unauthorized access to systems. His exploits demonstrate that manipulation, persuasion, and trust exploitation can be as potent as any hacking tool. It's not the code that's being cracked, it's the people. We also examined the RSA breach, a modern-day example of social engineering. This incident underlined the fact that even the most technologically advanced companies can fall prey to these attacks. Here, a simple phishing email led to one of the most significant security breaches in recent history. Again, it wasn't the technology that failed, it was the human judgment. These real-life examples bring us to a vital realization. Awareness and training are paramount in preventing social engineering attacks. It's not enough to have robust security systems in place. We need to equip ourselves and our teams with the knowledge to recognize and resist such manipulative tactics. Training programs should focus on teaching individuals to question, to be skeptical. They should reinforce that confidential information must remain just that, confidential. It's also critical to remember that it's okay to say no when something feels off, even if it's to a seemingly trustworthy source. We need to create a culture of security mindfulness where every individual understands their role in maintaining the organization's security. It's about empowering individuals to be the first line of defense, to be the heroes in this battle against social engineering. In the end, the best defense against social engineering is a well-informed and vigilant individual. Remember, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.